Pastor Melly Mail, the Hood Postman. We back in Vegas. Y'all see him? Yeah. Man, you look like you just got off the iron pile, bro.
I eat iron. You know, already know what it is. 702 The Meadows. You know what it is. Vegas.
What's that bench press, man? What is that bench press?
Come on, man. Ain't gonna say nothing, but we gonna keep it like your boy 55.
There you go, keep it 55.
Fight me?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the fight. You fight me.
Got you.
What's going on with you?
Man, everything is good, man. I had to come out here, and capture you again, man, because you did such a great job, man, because I wanted to know about the Gerson Park Kingsmen and also what distinguished the Gerson Park Kingsmen from the Donner Street, the GQs, and the 6Os, all the other people. I just want to know what made y'all unique in that sense.
Okay, but before I address that, let me say this here.
Go ahead.
I caught an interview. And I don't do the interview banging, none of that. But when you speak on Vegas, I'm from the Meadowlands, born and raised. My daddy cracked the ice over here. If it wasn't for him, it wouldn't been no games. So check this out, Skip. You said something on Care Mac, homie. That was incorrect. You said, number one, we got took over.
So let me say this, right? We ain't gonna mention Kevmac. You could dress.
There's nothing wrong.
Okay.
Salute to Kevmac.
Okay.
Salute to Loco Vision too. Them my guys.
Okay.
But with somebody, Kevmac didn't speak on it.
Okay. So we talked directly to Skip.
Talk to Skip. If we took roll call right now, and I'm not even active, homie, we the biggest gang in Vegas, and probably the most active. And if they took roll call, we probably just as deep as the grapes. Because we out the projects too, homie. But we had 4 neighborhoods. We had Herbert Gerson, we had the Brownies, we had 40 Block, and we had Carry Arms. With them numbers right there, we ride with the grapes in numbers.
So sometimes, in his defense, sometimes there's what is called a Floridian slip. You believe that he may have had that? Yeah, he might have had his information might have been, given to him.
Yeah.
And, because Skip is a good guy.
I'm not saying he ain't.
No, not that. I just, want to just throw my 2 cents in it, but I know where you're coming from. All right, because when we talking about these things and we getting into the history, you want to have it down tight.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm here today, to get it from you, because I'm gonna get it down tight.
Yeah, we never, like I said, we wasn't taking over, and our whole thing wasn't to keep the Crips out, whatever that was about. Our thing was like, our colors, black and green, money and murder. We like the Hoovers of Las Vegas. Like the Hoovers in California, we ain't bleeding, and we ain't Keyway. We Kingsmen. We wear green and black. They're my neighborhood colors. Our colors is actually red, black, and green. But we wear black and green for money and murder. And we the biggest gang out here. Herbert Gerson was built in 1964. The oldest projects would be Marlboro Manor. They was built in 1953. That's West Coast blood turf. But they wasn't bleeding over that either.
In 1964, what was Herbert Gerson's then?
Associates. Yeah, my daddy broke that. That's my daddy. My daddy was the founder of that, Associates. They actually started off they wore blue jean vest jackets. They actually started off they were like a car club. They used to drag race a lot. But see, my daddy had this complex about himself. He liked to fight everybody that was supposed to be the toughest in every neighborhood. Everybody called my daddy Sheepdog. They know him.
He was like that when I met him. That's how I met him, man. He called some dude out, man. He saw some dude working out, doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, Sheepdog was on him like a cheap suit. Yeah. I said, man, what's wrong with you, man? Oh, man, you know how he talk.
Yeah. That's what he did. He was known for turning out the parties. He was the one that jump on the table when the party get to jumping off and just get the wilding out or grab some female by her butt, or man, and say something, he'll get knocked out. That was how my father was, and that's how the Associates was. Let's back up a little bit.
Cool.
Before the Associates, there were a group called the Byron Boys. That was Vince and Greg Turpin. Them. They older than my pops, but the reason why I don't say they were a gang, because they were non-violent. The violence came with the Associates. The first 3 entities of what you could call a gang in Las Vegas was the Associates, which were the prototype for the gangs. Then you had the Byron Boys that preceded the Associates, and then you had the Funkadelics, who was a bunch of perm-wearing dudes that wasn't really trying to get into nothing. They was all about their females. My daddy didn't beat up them, all them, for real.
So would it be safe to say a lot of what we call, okay, we'll say the Damu and Keyways, but a lot of time us as a people, by us being tribal,
Right.
we just kind of simulate to form our own groups, whether regardless of what we call them.
Right.
We just kind of just do that. You know what I mean? And it don't matter geographic locations or none of that, right?
Right.
So would that be a safe thing to say?
Well, you know, the Byron boys was more or less, they was pro-black. They was for their people. The associates was the ones that bought the anti-black.
Doing 60, that makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, they the ones that started, you know, with the black on black thing. You know, at one point, the Gerson was real militant. White people couldn't come over there. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. Basically, could nobody come over there. You know what I'm saying? Because we was never really a gang. The Gerson is a conglomeration of family. That's why when you hear about Herbert Gerson, you take the gang names out, you'll hear about the Austins, the Owens, the Davidsons, the Clarks, the Washingtons, the Shepherds, the Allens, the Lees, the Jamersons. You hear about all of them. You see them, the Weatherspoons, the Hines, you know what I'm saying? All of them, the Andersons. We was a conglomeration of family. So when we with the fight, we all win. You know what I'm saying? Even the aunties. That's how we was. We was never a gang.
So there was some people that came from LA and they became Herbert Gersons. So were they able to abandon their Crip roots, or did they add to the pot, to the gumbo mix?
They added to the gumbo mix because I mean, one person in particular that came from 89 East Coast Compton is Cornbread. Albert Maxwell Chase, you know what I'm saying? I you know, rest in peace. And his little brother is from your hood, Santana Block. They call him Boo, you know what I'm saying? But Cornbread was the first one in Vegas that was jacking for Dayton's. People out here didn't know nothing about that. When he came out here, we didn't know that gold Dayton's was worth, you know what I'm saying, so much money, and chrome Dayton's was worth so much money. Bread was the first one jacking for Dayton's, and when he got at you, it was just something about his mannerism. See, he liked to get you up close and personal. And he had that Cali swag. You know, he turned the gun like this on you when he creep up on you. You know what I'm saying? When he run, he stepped with the pep. You know what I'm saying? He had that Cali lingo. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us picked up on
He had that Crip skip on him, boy.
He had that with him, you know what I'm saying? And that scared a lot of people that was enemies because he had that Wild Wild West mentality. He didn't care if y'all was 6, 7 deep. He go walk up to you and say, I'm the Gerson. What's happening? You see what I'm saying? He go have that thing and he go be ready to bust it. You know, ask the 6 O's. Ask Mad Meats. No disrespect, he walked right up to Mad Meats and popped him, Baby Cow, and had the other one running, Jesse Bullets. True story. You feel me? And then, let me say this about the Damoos. The first Damoo in Las Vegas, the one that put the red flag in the ground, that goes to Michael Finley. 004 Hood Bloods. Now, in California, Hollywood is known as Paru, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, out here, Hollywood is just Bloods. 004 Hoods. They're the oldest blood gang. Came out in the early 80s. It was started by Michael Finley. Now, what I would do is if I can ever get in contact with Mike, I would have him pick it up from there because he can speak on where he came from and why he chose to put the red flag in the north, because the red flag in Vegas rose in the north. The oldest blood gang is the Hood. The second oldest blood gang would be the PBs. Now, speaking of the PBs, just like I say, Michael Finley is the oldest first blood, the most known blood. Not for being hands, not for being a shooter, but just being known. That name is Ricky Cooper. Ricky Cooper from Playboy Bloods is probably the most known blood in Las Vegas history. He just got out from doing 38 years. He with his grandkids and his kids, and he's trying to live a decent life. I salute that brother because he was in the struggle. And I hope he changed his life. I'm pretty sure he did because he's a solid cat. You know what I mean? And you know, once we make a mistake, they don't give us a second chance. Only the clan can get a second chance. Ask David Dukes. He can be the Grand Wizard and then holler and do all this kind of hatred and do all this here. But let's get one thing straight. The white nationalists in the Klan and people like David Dukes, they never got hit with the RICO.
Why you think that is?
He's a good old boy.
He's a good old boy.
Just a good old boy. You know how that go, man. Ain't nothing changed from
Right.
1857. The Dred Scott decision still stands today. We just don't understand the way they move. You know, they can go and say, you know, we amended the. You see how they just did Roe versus Wade? They
Right.
can go and say, you know, a black man has no rights that a white man should respect. They can say that. You know what I'm saying? And then they can come back in 1896 and say, President Ferguson, you know what? We gonna keep them separate as long as it's equal.
Right.
That's why you had color here, and then you had white only here.
So coming back to the Gersons, GQs down the streets, the Norths, the Bloods in the North. You think that everybody, because I find this happening in Compton, LA, everywhere, that once a game establishes itself, it's only because he's trying to one up. They're trying to one up the next guys that started. Do you think that happens here as well?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it happens here a lot. You know, a lot of people got their beginnings from Herbert Gerson. That's where it began, man. I'm not trying to down nobody, but can't no gang trace their lineage further than Herbert Gerson. We done went through so many stages, and we have so many chapters. We the only hood that has, you had the Associates, the Ace of Spades, the Gerson Park Killers, the Gerson Park Kingsmen, the Wax, which is wacky ass Kingsmen, the Max, the Lokes, the Canines, the Dogs. It's so many kin folks, wicked style players. These is all people that's under the crown.
Did everybody stick to the green and black?
Well, you know, everybody stuck to the green. But like the alley shots, they green and yellow. The K9s, they black and tan.
So this is what you distinguish them when you see the black and tan versus the green.
But they all do this. They all throw that.
That's the Gersons?
That's the K in sign language.
Okay.
Yeah, they all do it right there. They throw that you up under the crown right there on me. You feel me? It's right on my arm. You up under the crown, 5 stars. You know what I'm saying? Got them on my shoulders too. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? And I got my PSI report. I'm a rep. For real, believe that. I was born in this. I ain't never had to get jumped in this. When I was in the incubator, it was associates around me. My daddy had me for the first 4 years of his life. I was with him when he knocked out half the people he whooped. And some of his greatest fights, he carried me up there on his neck. I have front row seats to the beginning of this, man. You're not going to find nobody in Vegas that's more authentic than me. And I still got my PSI report for anybody that try to slander me. And I can bring mine to the front and center.
What came first, the hand gods or the iron gods?
Hand gods, because everybody wanted to be like my daddy. You had women running backwards, punching, shadow boxing, trying to be like Sheepdog. Everybody wanted to be like Sheepdog, the knockout artist, because he didn't just knock out dudes, he knocked out the police, he put the chopper down. Y'all remember that? Come on, man. That's why they kicked him out of Las Vegas. Then he went to California and made a name for himself. Come on, man. He's stoned to the bones, for real.
So where did y'all pick up the iron game at? Or y'all just something that just naturally
got killed? In December 4th, 1986 was a defining moment in Las Vegas because...
Talk to me about it.
Well, you know, Donna Street had not yet formed. That's another thing. I don't know how, you know, I'm going back to Skip. I don't know how you was on Donna Street. See, my homie L got killed December 4th, 1986. There were no such thing as Donna Streets. Donna Streets came into existence because some of my homeboys, Charlie Boy, Voodoo, Duke Daddy, Dread Mag, they went down there and got with Gangsta Lump, Dan Loke, and Dog, and all them, and they formed Donna Street Crips. So if you was down there on Donna Street, it was not when the Donna Street Crips was down there. That's guaranteed. For real. Now what you saying?
No, I was saying
Hold
okay.
On. My homeboy L got killed at the Comfort Inn. See, the Gerson was a big gang. And we known for rat packing. We overwhelm you in numbers before the gunplay. Well, an incident happened at the Comfort Inn, which was like a lounge. My homies basically got set up by a female to come to the lounge before everybody else was supposed to go. And my homeboy LDZ, David Vaughn, my cousin Killer Can, and all them went before. And there was a whole bunch of bloods up in there. They got the fighting up in there, and L tried to throw one of them off the balcony, and he got shot 3 times in the head. And that's where you get that slogan, 3 to the head, L's dead, 2 more to go, Donna Ray and Poncho. That's
wow.
The Bloods. That's how the Bloods antagonize us.
Right. So do you think that, as far as the buffing game, I'm talking about getting swole, I see you on Hub right there.
Oh, yeah.
You think that might have came from Tookie all the way to here, or that just something you guys picked up on your own?
We picked this up on our own before we even knew of Tookie. You know what I'm saying? We was buffy, you know what I'm saying? My daddy was swole when he was young. All my uncles were swole. You know, and I started going to institutions at the age of 12. See, I'll tell y'all got CYA. Out here we got NYTC, Battle Youth Training Center. I was going there when I was 12 years old. So I had hood when I was 12. When I was 13 years old, I had hood. You know what I'm saying? And I never stopped, man. Some people just genetically gifted, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sitting on 22. I'm 47 years old. I'm still on swole. I still got my mindset, and I'm ready for whatever. Believe that.
Gerson Park Kingsman?
Man, listen. Ex-Gerson Park Kingsman. But when I was one, I was a saber tooth. Believe that I was the truth.
Man,
I was a walking noose.
Well, lock the door right there. Lock the door.
Break it. Boom.
the hood postman. Always got motion, always keep motion. I'm the hood postman. 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 On the dead homies like Rennie Loken. Yeah.